Okay. I'm okay. Okay, I'm just gonna hit you. Okay, okay. I'm just gonna hit you with it all at once. Who is the real? Okay, I'm just gonna hit. Okay, okay. I'm just gonna hit you with it all at once. Who is the real Caroline Jones? But I now in now in Caroline, I wish I had the actual thing here instead of the double feature. Um, the, like we all know, like we all know who Caroline is in this. But here, but here's an age-old question. But here's the age-old question: Who is Caroline Jones? Who is Caroline really? Sorry, I, 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 I got the feeling she's. I, I, I got the feeling she's a ridiculously young Belladam and just doesn't even know it. So let's figure this out and break this down in why I'm saying that. So let's break what I'm saying. So I got the feeling she's the Belladam. I got the feeling she's either the Belladam or the Belladam's assistant. And and this, and this is not to teach and this is not to take away from a little girl's innocence here, but maybe she's not as innocent as she might as be. Now this is not to take away the innocence of Caroline, but maybe she's not. But just maybe she's not so innocent. Just maybe. She like you know, like you notice when she does when her mom. Like you notice when Shirley. Like you notice how she's pestering her mother into opening this door that she just discovered. She's not that enough. She wants to discover this door, right? Like what? Like right off the bat. Who? I blame her. Like I mean, who can blame her? Like I mean, who can blame it? Like I mean, who can blame Caroline for that? You know, she finds a door that could lead to anywhere, and she wants to know, and she wants to discover it now. Not in 5 minutes from now, but now. So she figures so before she's even in there, she wants to figure this thing out. Even if it's taking her mom away from her work. So I'm not saying her mom has the right to be nasty, but this might shed some light on how Caroline was so determined to go through that door. Caroline discovers this door, okay? And instead of reasonably going, oh, okay, I found this door, I better leave it alone. She actually doesn't do that. She wants to get this, this crazy. She wants to get past the supply. She's surprised, and instead of allowing her mom to finish the work she's doing, she's very she's ridiculously persistent in finding out what is behind this door. Now, I now I now I totally get it. I totally get it. She's 11. She's becoming of age. She 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 doesn't have she she doesn't have a plan here to find out what she's gonna find on the other end, but she's persistent. You know, so so sorry to be the mess. Sour, sweet. So way to keep a secret in there, Caroline. Really, she she wants to go into the story because now she's quote unquote obsessed with it. She instead of reasonably walking down the stairs and just asking for, instead of reasonably coming down the stairs and asking her mom face to face, she'd rather yell from upstairs. Third, second to that, her mom is a hardworking and has something of a slight bad attitude already. So 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 so, so again, Caroline, what are you doing? Your mom's hardworking. She's kind of howdy nippy as it is, and yet she's got this 11-year-old little sweetheart daughter that wants to discover this door. The problem with that, the problem with that is that she wants to discover it now, and so she's she's not really being a pain in her mother's nose, or being or trying to pester her on purpose. She found this door, that could lead to anywhere. It could lead to the back of the Pink Palace. It could lead to the side of it. It could lead to where she was playing outside. That so-called well. She doesn't know, so she's going to figure this out. As soon as she gets the key, but from her already nippy mother, her mother unlocks the door, and she's not disappointed, but she's kind of off-center confused. It's just a brick wall. And I mean, the real Coraline with the real Coraline, the real Coraline, that sweet little girl would not want to go looking for trouble right away. The real Coraline wouldn't have done that. The real Coraline, excuse me, would have said to her mom face to face, "Look, I know you're busy, and you have every right to be busy and nippy with me, and you have every right to be, in a bad attitude with me. It was a long trip to get here, but I would like to know what's behind this door." So, I get that you're nippy with me already because we had a long trip to get here, but I found this door, and I would really like to, You know, I know we just got here and all. I know I had a long trip getting here, but I found the store here and I would like to discover it. And like Will I'm at it, is there a key around so I can open it up. It, an indication right there that Coraline might not be the real Coraline, because the real Coraline would have given at least her mother a chance, right? So 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 the next so, so the next step in this is that Coraline is if the real Coraline had had something of a decoy, like another person guiding her, like another person that's probably more than persistent and st- and stupid enough to probably the, probably the Bell Dam to have a conversation with her long before they're even at the Pink Palace. Like, you know, The Shining. Now, have you ever thought? Now, have you ever thought for 1 minute that maybe she was talking to the Bell Dam and they weren't even at the Pink Palace yet? I mean, that would explain that chair. Like, have you ever like like the Shining is about talking to people when they're not even miles within when they're not even when they're like miles and miles. Like the Shining is probably what Caroline did and didn't know it. You know, they would have been in the car going to the Pink Palace, you know, limbo, and she probably had a conversation with the Bell Dam long before she knew the Bell Dam, and long before they even got there. Like, you know, The Shining, which would have surprising, which surprising enough, the chair from this thing is in her bedroom. Like, I mean, how do you explain that? She she has a conversation in the car as they're going there, and she probably doesn't realize that she's had that conversation with the Bell Dam long before she was even in the Pink Palace limbo, or or or, or, or the Pink Palace. Like, you see what I'm saying here? She could have had The Shining right in the car when they're driving to get there, and that's probably why the Bell Dam made that Caroline doll and was waiting for so long because they were talking while she was in the car going to the Pink Palace. Again, strange attitude for a little girl who's 11 years old. However, she has this shining conversation with the Bell Dam. Doesn't realize that she's done that, and she's probably just was just kind of thinking to herself, like, oh yeah, this is a, like we're going to a place, and she probably doesn't even realize she's having a shining conversation with the Bell Dam because she's just talking to herself. And the real Coraline is probably like still, the fake Coraline would have been probably at the Pink Palace. as opposed to the real Coraline in the car. Like, I mean, how can you figure, like how would you think I would have figured, like, okay, you're probably thinking, are you nuts? There cannot be two Coralines in this thing. Well, well, actually, I am nuts. There is actually two Coraline. There are actually two Coralines. One in the car going there with her parents, and the other one who is persistent in getting into the who is persistent and would do anything to get into the door and go to the other side, which is like the dead zone, which is basically the dead zone of the same place, you know. And Coraline has and the fake Coraline has probably been in The Shining film, and she discovers this chair, which would and she thinks, hey, this would be a great chair to have in my bedroom. Like, you know, so she could have been in The Shining. Maybe they were both in there, the fake and the real, because there's two dead girls that are standing up that that seem to be peering, looking at the boy who's riding the cycle, Danny, to the halls, and they're saying, come here, 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 you know, as if they're saying, come join us dead on the floor. So okay, here's a question. Could that be Coraline? Could that be the two Coraline girls? Like, I mean, they appear to be like they look to be at least 5. Like, one seems to be like 5 and the other 11. Like, one would be one would appear to be like at the age of 5. Like, I mean, both of them would look as if they were like at least 11 years old. 9, 10, you know, anywhere from 10 to 11. So, like, we're talking The Shining here, you know, but think about this one. But think about this, will you? Could Coraline be both of those girls? So, the soup. Something tells me they weren't. Something tells me they would have done that on purpose, because there are two, you know, possibly a 10 or 11 age. Something tells me someone did this on purpose, where there are two dead 11-year-olds, but they're standing up and sort of going to this little boy, hey, how's it going? You know, they come over here, you know, like join us. You know, join us being dead on the floor. You know, they're dead. And they appear to be 11 years old and they appear to be at least at the age of 10 and a half or 11. So okay, here's a thought. Supposedly that's Coraline. And supposedly that is Coraline. In like real life. And the belly dancer was probably like in the bathroom, you know, in the nude in the bath, which would probably make that official, like, which would probably make that a lot more freaky and weird, because now because because now we're talking about Coraline in live action, which I wouldn't be surprised which I would not be surprised was this right here. You know, they just happen to be in there. The bell dam, you know, like in the bathroom, in the shower, uh, and the two 11-year-olds that are sort of between the hallway and the stairs. The two date 11-year-olds, and they're both Caroline. One's the real one, one's the fake one, and they're right beside each other to make that more continually weird. Now, now, that was The Shining. Now, so the two girls, you know, the two date 11-year-olds are probably Caroline, are probably fake Caroline and real Caroline. So, right? So, like, I mean, think about it. You cannot just have Caroline go into the Bell Dam's lair and not come out and have potentially another little girl who's 11 probably still in there. Well, the fake one comes out at the other end, thinking it's over, it's done with. Dr. Sleep, which is basically this, but the continuation. Again, the two Caroline girls are in this, in like multiple places, in multiple times in this, and now they're everywhere. Actually, come to think of it, maybe they're both the fake Coralines, because there's only one Coraline that is the sweet little, muffin that is loved and adored by her parents. So but the two Coralines is probably like the fake and the real one right beside each other, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if if they made a second Caroline and then killed her off. Not trying to take away from the innocence of the film or the little girl, but it could go that way. It could. I'm not saying it will, but it could. In Dr. Sleep, the two Caroline girls are like the two dead 11-year-old Caroline girls are like everywhere. And come to think of it, the actual house where this guy goes with his family is probably the Bell Dam's lair. The lair is in here too. So, and here, and here's where the Bell Dam is probably all over the place now. See, and that's probably her right there. The all twisted and the all around, like, so did the Freddy Krueger in this thing. Like she's coming after people in their sleep, which is probably another basket of weird. Because she's doing what Freddy Krueger's doing, but she's a woman. So again, like, I'm coming after you in your sleep thing. Like, very effective and very effective version of Freddy Krueger, if that was Freddy Krueger. Or possibly his wife, which he definitely looked like he was married at least once. So that's probably his wife. Just throwing that out there. I'm not saying he is, but possibly maybe. So the two dead Coraline girls, and her and the main, and surprisingly enough, this main guy is now the new bartender in this. I bet you didn't see that coming, because they have to pick another bartender to bartend at the bar, right? Well, we expected it. Yeah. So again, the two dead Coraline girls are like all over, are almost in every part of this thing, and somehow they come out, and somehow at the end they're revealed to be two normal sweet girls, but they're still dead. So how's that not a dead giveaway to the real Coraline? Right? Like, I mean, think about it. Coraline is this sweet little 11-year-old that apparently doesn't realize what she's doing, or does she? That probably doesn't get it. That probably knows what she's doing, but she's not conversing that yet. She's in the early stages of, what is this? And you sort of see that in Coraline. A little bit, like, there's something off here, because she's collecting that. Oh, this is a trap, but well, I'm here. But I might as well have my fun here since I'm here. She's probably collected the thought that, oh, okay, this is probably, like, she's probably at the, like, in the film Coraline, she's probably, like, well, she's doing her thing there. She probably already knows. She probably has collected the thought, what am I doing here? The minute she gets there, she's detecting something that is off almost right away when she gets there. And already it's not even been like 5 minutes since she's went to the door, and already she's going like, huh? There's something out there. And that's all you see of that until the last third of the film. No, wait, I'm sorry, she's like this. She's like the, because like to the entire film of Coraline, she's technically going like, like she's surprised, but she's not surprised the way she should be. Like, she even agrees to get the button sewed into her head before she sees the buttons. And she does it like this. The Beldam says, well, you could. And Carline's is totally going, right as the Beldam going, you could. Right when she gets to that line, you could. Again, Caroline's going, huh? Stay here with us. And we and and right at the bat, she's excited because she wants to stay there. She she's aware that there's things going on that are weird. She's aware of the whole situation up until the buttons. She's aware of everything that she's probably in front of the bell dam, and she's accepted it. She's accepted the bell dam, not thinking that she's accepting. Oh, she's gonna put the buttons in me now. Run! She's probably like she's accepting the buttons already before she even sees the buttons. But she's still in the I could stay here. And already already in her head she's thinking, I didn't see that coming. And then she's like, to cover up her, she's hearing what she hasn't said, and she goes, really? The Belgium says, in her motherly fashion, well, you could stay here. And right off the bat, Caroline goes from, to, oh, like she had to think about it for like at least a second. And then she agreed with herself and went, oh, okay, so okay, it's potential that I could stay here forever. So she said, so she starts up and going, there's something off here, and then that goes away, and she goes, oh, I could stay here. Thanks, Mom. Like that's what she's thinking, but she's not saying that. She's like potentially she's going like you could stay here forever. And at first, Caroline's thinking, okay, there's something off here. But then, examining what has been said to her, she goes, huh, I didn't see that coming. Okay. Like now she's at that kind of a point where she wants to stay there forever, but she doesn't know the plan yet. But she doesn't know the plan, but she doesn't know the plan, and she doesn't know that there's buttons coming. She's agreed to the buttons before she's even seen the buttons. So technically, in her head, she's going, huh? There's something off here. Oh, wait a minute. Really? I could stay here? Potentially forever? Sweet. Then this whole thing here, and then that, there's something off here, rises again. Right after she is like, oh, okay. All we have to do, and the bell dam in her motherly form fashion says, there's just this one little thing we gotta do, and already Caroline's singing. Okay, what has to come first here? Because she was already psyched before, like she was already like, what's going on here? There's something missing here, and then she's like, oh, okay, it's potential that I could stay here forever. Great, and then there's something after it comes up again, right at the bat, where she's thinking, okay, wait a minute. What has to come first before I do this? She places the buttons right. Sorry, the other father suggests it. It puts up the suggestion of this, and then the bell dam continues it. Like, oh, okay, this is a good idea. Thanks for that. Like that's basically what she was saying. And then she's like, well, you could stay here forever, potentially. And Caroline's excited, but she's still hanging on to there's something off here. She sits down, they sit at the table, and then she puts the buttons in, and then she's handed the button by the other father, and she says, we're just gonna do this one little thing, and there's something off here, comes back again from a coraline. We just need to do this. Bang. And at first she's still like, she's still like in awe of, great, I get to stay here. She looks down and she sees the buttons with the needle, and already her brain's going, ah! But now she's got to juggle around, okay, buttons. And then they make the hint of they can be any color you want. And they're pointing to their buttons. They come in red. They come in blue. They come in these colors. Black is tradition. And now Caroline's going, oh, I did not sign up for this. Well, actually, she did. She signed up for this by going through the door. Like she's not stupid, but she's pretending she is stupid. Like, and now she's got the whole picture in her head. The brain's going, oh! And now she's scared because now she's thinking to herself, wait a minute, I did not sign up for this. Again, Caroline, you're toast. If you didn't sign up for this, then why did you go through the door the first time? If you didn't sign up for this, as you say, why are you in, like, okay, like her brain's going, oh! As she's looking at the buttons and needles and thread, and then she's going, oh, wait a minute. No. I did not sign up for this. Well, son of a bitch, you did. Well, son of a bitch, okay? You did sign up for this. And all you had to do was go through the door to discover this place. That's how you signed up for this. So don't be surprised when it finally comes around to you that now there's payback here. You're saying you didn't sign up for this. Well, why did you walk through the door? Like someone who, you're saying you didn't sign up for this to yourself, but just a minute, hold your horses, Caroline. You did. You signed up. You actually did sign up for this by going through that door. All you needed to do was sign the official agreement to go through that door, and now here it is. You already signed up for letting them do this to you by going through that door in the wall. So don't tell me you didn't sign up for this, because you did. You did it by walking through the door that you could have just left alone. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now this is a dead cat, perfectly hatched to give you the real Coraline in this, since the real Coraline was nowhere in that. Yet there were two 11-year-old girls. that were Coraline fashionable, that were into fashion and probably very Coraline looking. There's a scene in this where Jack's trying to figure out Christmas, and I don't know why he's doing that. I mean, he's the main boogeyman. You know, he's the main Michael Myers in that movie and everything else. You know, so now he's figuring out. He's like, Christmas time's buzzing in my skull, and I know the stories, and I know the rhymes. Yeah. No, he doesn't, because he's just discovering this for the first time. You cannot do that after just discovered it 15 minutes ago. Sorry, like 25 minutes ago. You know, and then he's acting like he knows this, yet he doesn't. Anyway, there's a scene in this where he's going, well, what does it mean? He's trying to figure out what this Christmas stuff means, because there's where Jack Skellington loses his ability to sleeping straight, is that he's blinded by the Saint Nicholas, becoming the Saint Nicholas mascot. But is he? He's got this doll in his hand, which surprisingly has the buttons in the head of it. There's something going on here. And I'm going to tell you right now what that is. The beldam probably gave that to him, so he can discover what he probably got this doll from the beldam. So that would mean the beldam is in this somewhere. He's holding up a doll and he's ripped it apart, trying to figure out what this Christmas stuff means. He's lifted up the stomach, you know, of the little girl. So, like, he's ripped open the stomach of the Coraline doll. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is where Coraline gets her final dismiss, gets her final, you know, beginning of the road to death, because Jack Skellington has torn open the Coraline doll. Not all the way, but he's torn it. And of course the buttons for eyes, you know, so of course the real Coraline, as opposed to the Coraline girls in here, it's a little more fake. It's probably more real in this, because there's a doll with the buttons in the eyes. Sorry, the buttons for eyes. And then later there's a baby doll, more plastic, that they're trying to improve, you know. And one of the vampires is like, what kind of a noise for a baby? What kind of a noise does a baby make? What kind of noise does a baby make with that? You know, like, he's questioning, what kind of a noise? He's asking Jack, what kind of a noise for a baby to make? And Jack goes, well, maybe it can be improved. Improved? As opposed to the doll he was holding up earlier? Like, with the buttons in there? There's got to be something, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the Ghost Boy. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a the ghost boy in. So I wouldn't be surprised if that would explain that, of the three ghost children, one of them is like almost not even a kid. He's more like an infant that is growing up a little bit, right? So again, we got like two dolls in this thing, plus a plot to Caroline's death. Good, like Goldfinger. Have you ever stopped? Have you ever stopped that movie and paused it right at the part where he's holding that doll up? The first one with the button for eyes. Have you ever paused it on that segment and actually took a look at that thing? That's probably Caroline, and she's potentially almost dead. Think about it. Like he's got this doll in his hand, and he's turned it someone, as opposed to the beginning of the death plot to Caroline. Now here's a dead. Now here's one. Dead silence, which is probably another rendition of the real Coraline Jones. This thing has nothing but dolls in it, and the mother with all the dolls in there. This is about a frightening vaudeville act person who has the most seclusive collection of dolls. Yes, I've said it, dolls. And she's a life size doll, which in my quote, in quotations, is that she is probably the Beldam. If you think about it, she's a human doll, and she's got almost no skin over here. She's all skull. She's this giant demon doll. See, she asked to be buried with her dolls, right? So how can and like when she dies, she wants to be buried with her dolls, which is she put those extensive collection, probably 1,000 dolls in there, and that would apply to the Beldam and her killing spree. Yes, I said it. The Beldam has a killing spree, and this is probably an indication that, and this is probably a good human doll, like example of the Beldam in her true nature. She's a killing nightmare. She's probably killed more people than Lloyd Burkus in the Corpse Bride. So let's take a look at this. The Beldam is probably the best rendition of the Beldam of the origin of her. Because at one point she would have had like murdered and killed like at least 100 times before, right? She even said that she killed her own mother and put her back, and every time she'd come out, she'd put her back in the grave. So again, she said she put her in there herself, her own mother, in the grave. How is that not a reference? How is that not a reference to this Dead Silence film? Think about it. If you've watched it, you'd know what I'm talking about here. Well, apparently she's come out of the grave seeking what? The heart of a boy? Very unlikely. But she's come back just for revenge because of her children. Now, listen to this slowly. Her children, as opposed to the ghost children in Coraline. Yeah. She calls them her children in this, as to the scene where you see where Coraline is in there with the ghost children, and she's telling, and they're telling her what to do here. Well, how's that not a reference to this, right? The bell dam, or in this, is probably like she calls them her children, the dolls, and like, you know what I'm getting at? She calls them her children, her dead children, her dead doll children, and she becomes the demon doll of, and she becomes the main, and she becomes a doll herself, which is a reference to the Belle Dame in her true nature, because she's nothing but dead. Think about it. She is now potentially the Belle Dame in this, or someone like Belle Dame oriented, is a giant demon doll herself, and she's got these children, and she's got these dolls that she's calling and referring to as her children, as opposed to Coraline having 3 dead ghost children in there, somewhere within the cracks of the pink paradise. It's like, you'd have to stop and think that maybe this is more of a horror film than, like, you'd have to stop and think that maybe Coraline is more of a horror film than even this. Or of these things, The Shining and The Shining 2, So you probably, yeah. Like, I'm gonna think about it. She's dead. She's come back as the killer, as this giant doll figure, quote unquote, the Belle Dame, because the Belle Dame is nothing like, the Belle Dame in Coraline is basically just a lamp fixture with a skeletal appearance, as opposed to this thing. Same thing, but she's a giant doll, a giant demon-possessed doll that's coming after anybody who tries to take away her magic. The haunting hour, and believe me, this is a dead giveaway to Coraline. Dead giveaway. Right there. How is that not Coraline? Right? How is that not a Coraline figure? Because when you think about it, Coraline has blue hair. Well, look at this. She's got a streak of blue right there in her hair. Not the whole head, but right here is her blue hair and her red hair. She's got a streak of blue hair right there. And she looks very much like a Coraline figure. And she's got this according to her, a very annoying little brother that she loves. But she's gothic. She's a gothic person. And Caroline is sort of gothic oriented as well, because if she wasn't, she probably wouldn't have found the 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 Beldam's lair. If she wasn't, she probably wouldn't have not. If she wasn't gothic, if Coraline was not gothic, she probably wouldn't have found the lair of the Beldam to be so interesting. And that giant monster that her and her little brother is battling off. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the other father. You know, that big grotesque brother. That big grotesque brother. That big, like, you know, almost like a Star Wars thing. Actually, forget I said that. That big sort of like grotesque, looking very pumpkin oriented, and at the same time, like, you know, he's potentially like kind of a big, like he's a big round pumpkin, or not a big round pumpkin, but a pumpkin, something of a pumpkin devil, right? As opposed to the other father in Caroline, you know, because that's what the other father turns into, basically, but as more of a human version of what that monster is in the end. In this, and of course, the same parents, the parents in this thing, if they're in there at all, are that of the Joneses, because they don't want to be bothered with what's going on with her. At least not right away. You know, they don't want. You know, they don't want this all around. You know, like, I mean, they love her. They love her. They love their daughter, but they think she's not, but they think that they love their daughter, but they probably are thinking, okay, are you nuts? Like, there's no this, there's no, like, you're going to do this with your little brother, even if we have to, you know, jump inside your clothes with you and make sure you take her. You know, but almost the attitude that's being implied to her, you know, that she's stuck taking her little brother after Halloween and trick-or-treating because she knows she doesn't want to do it. But she's a little girl. She's a teenager, mind you, but she's a little girl that is trapped within the world of her own existence. So again, how is that not Caroline oriented? You know, she's got the streaky blue hair. She's like right here. She's kind of somewhat dressed like Caroline. She's got the parents that are busy and doesn't have the time to completely give to her. They don't really have much time. They don't really have much time to spend with her. So she's going to school and stuff, and like, you know. So this is like, when you think about it. And now I'm going to show you the one true Coraline. And now I'm going to show you which Coraline figure probably is more of a Coraline fixture And now I'm going to surprise the living heck out of you, because within all of these Coralines, there's at least one that is the more true Coraline, the more real Coraline, sorry. But now here's the shocking surprise of who the real Coraline is. Actually, it's a combination. It's a combination of this right here. This is Coraline. The way, the shock, the shocking retell of the real Coraline is living. But I'm going to show. But now it's time to shock the pants off you and show you who Coraline is in real life. Are you ready? Dun dun dun! The one that would be the closest to Coraline out of all these movies is this person right here. The one that is in. The one that is more. But now here's the shocking truth of it. But now here's the shocking. But now here's the shocking result as to who the real Coraline is. There she is. And yes, the one that's the closest to this, and yes, the one that's closest, and probably is bang on Coraline. This is Coraline. And now for the surprise here. The one that takes the prize of the closest version to Coraline in real life is right here. Like the proof is in the pudding. She's got a streak of blue hair. She's got parents that don't spend enough time with her, and she is trapped within her existence, meaning she is Coraline in real life. Speak of the devil, eh? Coraline in the animated world, and Coraline in the real world. Right there, the real Coraline. Coraline Jones in in the animated field. Coraline Jones in the real world. In the real world field. They got that. The closest resemblance to Coraline here in real life, and probably is Coraline in real life, right there. She's got the clothes, she's got the streak of blue hair, she's got the parents that don't spend enough time with her, and she's got the streak of blue hair, she's got the parents that don't spend enough time with her, and is always in a bad attitude. Especially the mother. And yeah, she's got the streak of blue hair, like right here. She's got the parents that doesn't spend enough time with her, if they spend any time with her at all. And she's in, and and she's got the and she's also trapped in her own existence. Plus, she's got the same breath. She's got the same breath. Actually, she's got the same. Uh, and well, actually, she's got the same hair. Look at that. There's a yeah. But anyway, Coraline in the animated field, and the closest resemblance to Coraline in the real world and in real life, there she is.